Hello, everybody. How are you doing? It is Damon. How are you doing with another list? This time, basically, I'm gonna not putting on the camera. I felt like basically in this case, it wouldn't be worth it. So yeah. So today will just be an audio video. And I'm trying to make it as concise as possible because I've noticed in the last few videos I've left that a video was supposed to be 20, 30 minutes, ended up being 45 minutes, and I try to cut that out. So now, today, my video will be about the top 30 movie endings, my preferred movie endings. So there'll be 30 spots, and I didn't come up with some honorable mentions. If you have any in your mind, you can let me know about this in comments below. But number 30 is The Usual Suspects. It was a movie by Bryan Singers. It was done in 1994. Kevin Spacey, as Verbal Kint, goes to police station, try to recall the story about Kaiser Soze, and little by little, he basically mentions that he feels targeted by Kaiser Soze, feels worried by Kaiser Soze, and at the end, he leaves the office, and the police officer thinks he has everything scoured, everything figured it out. He put Verbal Kint into protective custody. He's basically legally free to just basically go on his own. And little does he know, as he leaves the office, he realizes that all of the names he mentions, including Kobayashi and every other name that he mentioned of, was picked out of objects in the office, meaning that Verbal Kint made everything up, and more so, Verbal Kint was Kaiser Soze. Spoiler, guys, there will be, since I've talked about the endings, I have to spoil the ending if you haven't seen it. And yeah, I thought that was a very, very well done ending, and Kaiser Soze got away with it. It's a movie where the bad guy gets away with it, and it was very well done. So that's number 20, number 30. Number 29, it'll be Seven. Another Kevin Spacey movie, Seven. I mean, in this movie, John Doe, played by Kevin Spacey again, is on a murdering spree, each of them to represent each different card seven deadly sins. The first murder was about gluttony, second one was about, I think, anger, the other one was about greed, fourth one, lust, fifth one, I think, pride. Then, inexplicably enough, he goes to the police station and he seems to stop his murdering spree until it gets to the end of the movie where it mentions that he went to see Detective Mills' wife. Detective Mills, which was, I think, Brad Pitt's character in the movie. And he revealed that he envied the Detective Mills' life. So he'd be the sixth sin. In this case, he's goading Brad Pitt's character to kill him, and Morgan Freeman's detective tries to convince him otherwise, but in the end, Detective Mills, played by Brad Pitt, was so mad that he ended up killing John Doe, making the sixth victim being Kevin Spacey's John Doe as envy, and it makes, inversely, Brad Pitt's character becomes Rat, the seven deadly sins. Brad Pitt's character goes to jail. And I remember I've heard that basically they fought the stars and the studio fought the stars and the director fought to have to keep that ending. It was supposed to be a happy ending, but they decided it didn't fit the mold. And I'm happy because it's a very good ending, very powerful ending there, and to a very good movie. That's number 28. 29 is a tie between American Reunion and Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. Why American Reunion? It's basically, I felt like it was a payoff to a running gag in a series where Finch is always able to get with Stifler's mom. And in this case, the opposite thing happens. But at the same time, that's not mentioned. I feel like it's a redemption of Stifler. He was always excluded. He was like the guy always that they were forced to hang out for most of the trilogy. In this case, at the end, it's like a choice. They choose to hang out with him. He officially is part of the gang. He's part of the group because in the slow-mo walk, it's the first time he's introduced there. It's the first time that basically Stifler is part of the slow-mo gang walk. So that to me is kind of like it moving in a certain comedy way. But it's like at the same time, it's also that the whole movie is of American reunion. While people go to high school reunions, it's like I didn't go personally to my own high school reunion because I felt like I didn't feel like asking, "Who are you? Who are you? Who are you?" Because it would have been a reunion where too many people at once, and it's like our high school rather than basically having 1 year or 2 years combined, it would make all years combined, all years finish, all years, graduates. And I thought that that's bogus. It's like you're gonna spend the whole evening asking, "Who are you again? Who are you again?" And some of my year did not show up. Most of people graduate on the same time I did not show up. So it would have been very, very awkward. But in that movie, it's like says the stress of basically a American reunions. It might sound like partying, but it's also where are you in your life? It's basically saying where are you in your life, and people try to judge you based on the amount of success or perceived success that you think you are gonna have, or the success that they believe you know defines you. So that's the reason why I would consider this to be American Union to be a good ending. Also, Quentin Tarantino, Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. Why? Because I felt like it was a great reversal play, just like another movie that's placed higher on that list. Quentin Tarantino plays with history. In this case, he plays with the Charles Manson's murder and basically how they if they were avoided. And it plays so in a very humorous, hilarious manner. And I'm glad that Brad Pitt, another Brad Pitt movie, in this case, as Cliff Booth, he won the Best Supporting Actor at the 2019 Oscars. I'm very happy that he did. Proud is not the right word, but happy that he did because he deserves. His character is so cool. Just like an F1 movie, Brad Pitt's character is always so cool. And even if he's basically the memory of yesterday, I feel like he's cooler than the memory of today in both of those movies. But yeah, I really like that movie was very pretty good. It wasn't the best Tarantino movie, but the ending was memorable. That's for 28. 27, talk about Riding Off the Sunset. This movie did exactly that. And I'm talking about Indiana Jones and the Last Crusade. Maybe the reason why I can tolerate Indiana Jones and Dial of Destiny, Indiana Jones and King of the Crystal Skulls, which King of the Crystal Skull I still maintain wasn't that bad. It just wasn't something great. But I could because the trilogy ended perfectly with him riding the sunset, finally getting his dad's approval, but also his own approval. And maybe they would run out for other adventures, or maybe they would just go back to the village, but they felt fulfilled. I felt like the characters felt fulfilled. They got their dose of adventures. They walk off in one piece. Harrison Ford was excellent, but more so Sean Connery as Indiana Jones' father, Henry Jones Sr. was awesome. And the reveal that the Indiana Indy was a dog's name, I always thought was funny. It's like funny, it's like make a joke of the character without demeaning him, which Dial of Destiny did not get the hint on this one. You can't make fun or poke fun in your main character without mocking him or her. So yeah, I really love the movie, and if you haven't, go see it. Number 26, Ghostbusters 3. I said in the prior video about the best legacy sequel, it's on there because I felt like at the end it respects the original. It put emphasis on the original. It's like it played homage to Harold Ramis as well as the original Ghostbusters. But more in this case was about Egon Spengler, and I thought that was basically closure to let not just let the actor go, but the character go. You couldn't use Egon Spengler in a fourth movie. It's like It's letting go of that character, but beautifully. You know, I'm a sucker for those things. So that's for number 26. Number 25, Pursuit of Happiness with Will Smith. I thought that is one of the best Will Smith performance ever. I mean, I can't believe that he didn't win for this one, didn't win the Oscar for this one, but won for King Richard, which I thought was okay. Pursuit of Happiness was very good, was excellent. It's about a person's perseverance to make it. Like he didn't want to just get by anymore. He wanted a great life to provide for him and his son, and the stuff he had to go through to get there. I mean, an internship and basically lots of obstacles and lots of basic conflicts that he had to go through. I thought it was an excellent movie. So that's for number 25. Number 24, it's a tie between Primal Fear and Infinity War. Infinity War Avengers. Primal Fear is an excellent movie with Edward Norton and and Richard Gere. And the fact that you think, okay, this person seems to have dissociative identity disorder. Basically, he's having dominant, uh, dominant personality, which I think was, I could be mistaken. I know it's Aaron and Roy, but there's Aaron, I think, basically in this case, is Aaron, I think, was a nice person with a nice personality, whereas Roy was a violent one. Basically, he's accused of having killing a priest. And at the end of the movie, basically, because of insanity, he's found to be not responsible for those murders. And Richard Gere's character was playing a lawyer who was taking a case, a pro bono case, goes to talk to him and infers that basically at one point, how's the other lawyers is doing, Laura Linney's character. Something that if he truly had dissociative and identity disorder, this person would not have discovered. This is when Richard Gere's basically, lights up and realize there was never really an Aaron. And Edward Norton's character says there was never really a Roy either. He got away scot-free by using basically the insanity plea. So he pretended to be insane, to have two personalities, and got away with it. Again, at this point, basically that was the final verdict. There's nothing that Richard Gere's character could do. I thought it was immensely well done. And Edward Norton was nominated as Best Supporting Actor for the Oscars, and I still can't remember who won that year, but I felt like Edward Norton, if there was ever a time he should have won an Oscar, that was that time. So that's for number 24, as well as Infinity Wars. Well, what can I say? I like sometimes a bad guy wins, but this was a Marvel movie. You're not expecting in a Marvel movie that the bad guy would win, and alas, he does. What he intended to do did happen, and he got away with it. Now, Endgames was a great ending too, but I thought Infinity War really, really was a better ending between the two. So that's what 24, 23, T2, Terminator 2, that is, Judgment Day. I mean, from the first one, Terminator, you'd think basically the first Terminator, in which Terminator, played by Arnold, basically, he's the bad guy. And the second one of the twists is he's the good guy. It's a good guy robot. He's a good guy cyborg that helps. He helps John Connor and he helps Sarah Connor, and they get rid of the T-1000. But after this, he reveals that there's one last computer they put into Skynet, his own. So to avoid being reprogrammed by Skynet out of nowhere, like they did in Terminator Dark Fate, to avoid basically that be basically brainwashed to killing John Connor, he sacrificed himself. He goes into the lava, and it's very emotional because at that point, that's the closest thing to a father figure that John Connor ever had. And Sarah Connor would distrust cyborgs after the first one. It's like got to trust and actually enjoy one cyborg. And she was, I wouldn't say she was heartbroken, but you could tell that the character was unhappy about seeing the T2 sacrifice himself. So I thought it was a beautiful ending, and that could have been the ending of the whole series. I thought that was a perfect ending for Terminator, and that they always try to replicate it in each movie. They always had, apart from Genesis, they always had whether it's T3, T4, or T6, always had Arnold die at the end. I know T4, it's not actually Arnold, it's basically, CGI, but still. It's always Arnold's Terminator has to die at the end, which I thought was kind of cheap. You already said what you had to do in the first one, why you had to redo it? So that's for 23. 22. You got Goodfellas and Depart. Again, for Scorsese, that's where I'll put it for Scorsese. Goodfellas, very good movie. It's basically after all the years of Henry Hill being a gangster, now he has to live his life as a uh, normal Joe average. That's the rest of his life. So, and even in the end, it feels like the little flash that he had of Tommy DeVito back in the days of Goodfellas, it's basically saying that he doesn't regret those days and would like to relive them. But that's for Goodfellas. Then there's The Departed, where there's a mole. Leo is a mole in the mob, and Matt Damon plays a cop who's really a mole for the mafia. And I like the movie that basically, at the end, Jack Nicholson's Frank Costello gets killed by Matt Damon's character after he realized that Costello was an FBI informant. There's a good chance he would have been turned in by Costello if he didn't do his job right. And eventually, like Billy Costigan, played by Leonardo DiCaprio, gets to meet Colin Sullivan, played by Matt Damon, and Costigan realized that Sullivan was the mole the entire time. So before Sullivan could come back and deliver basically his papers and his money for her being undercover for more than a year, Costigan leaves because he realized that the moment that Sullivan discovers who he is, he's a dead man walking. So he leaves and he tries to take hostage Sullivan in the elevator and says he's going to arrest Sullivan. But the moment they come out of the elevator, William Costigan gets shot dead by some seemingly another cop who reveals to Matt Damon that actually, surprise, there was actually another mole inside the police. And it was this associate who is promptly shot dead by Colin Sullivan, who he wants to leave no trace that he ever was a mob enforcer. A mole for the mob. Then basically goes home, basically thinks he gets away with it, but little you know, first, his wife finds out. First, his wife basically is pregnant, but it's not gonna be his kids, it's gonna be Leonardo DiCaprio's kids. William Costigan's kid. Second, before he died, he made sure to give her a tape of the recording of Colin Sullivan talking to Frank Costello about his work as a mob enforcer, and leaves him. But you get the feeling that everybody discovered that he was working for the mob. So, okay, he could have been in there and basically lives the rest of his life as a monster, but that's not it. He goes back home for the last time, and Mark Wahlberg's Dingham character was a cop, appears out of nowhere, and kills Colin Sullivan instead. I thought it was perfect the way it ended. Like, it's a perfect movie. Like, you could say Shutter Island as well. Another Scorsese movie was a great ending. And yeah, but I prefer those two. Number 21, Inglourious Basterds. I mean, from the get-go, Hans Landa, the movie, seriously, is always, if not, is basically He's an entrancing character. He's a fascinating character, and he's always one step ahead of everyone, except at the end. And I like the fact that at the end, even then, he doesn't get killed because they realize they made it that Alderaan and his team made a deal with their superiors that they will have him basically remain alive. So they don't kill him, but they make sure that they can mark him for life, basically to make sure that they get the ultimate victory over Hans Landa. And I thought it was excellently played, and it's why it's one of my favorite movies of all time. So that's for this number 21. 20, Top Gun 2. Maybe it's also that in terms of movies, I look at the last lines of dialogues in the movie. I love the fact that the last line of this movie is Pete Maverick Mitchell saying to Rooster, "Thank you for saving my life." And Rooster said, "That's what my dad would have done." And I thought that pays off the first one, but at the same time, it's the theme of this movie is about redemption. So I love this movie, and that's all I can say about that. Number 19, Toy Story 3 and Up, because both of them have the same theme at the end. It's about moving on. Toy Story 3, when Andy feels forced to give his toys, which you can see, it's very torturous for him to give it to his neighbor, but it's also he has to move on. He knows he's not gonna play with his toys anymore, but it's also saying goodbye to his childhood, goodbye to growing up, go and saying hello to a new phase of his life. And the reassurance of the toys after enduring a grueling, terrifying, near-death experience in the furnace, knowing they're going to be together reassures all of them. So that's good. For Up, it's Carl letting go of the grief he has for Ellie. Not forgetting about her, but knowing he cannot grieve her forever. And Ellie gave him his permission to move on, to have another adventure without her. And I thought it was brilliantly done. And at the end, he lets go of his house, and the house falls basically the area that basically they wanted to. Don't remember where it was, but I think it was Paradise Valley. And the way it ends there, and the music by Michael Giacchino, I'm sorry, but the score was excellent. I thought that's perfect. The way it ended was the way it should have done. Was for a Pixar movie. It's a very emotive ending. So it's a very emotional ending. Sorry. That's for number 9 and 19, 18. Fight Club, another David Fincher movie. I mean, find out that spoiler alert, but I think you already know the narrator is Tyler Durden. So Brad Pitt is the figment of the narrator's imagination, and at the end, he shoots himself to get rid of it. And as it do so, it triggers a bomb that destroys all the credit card buildings. Basically to create chaos and basically maybe destroy everybody's credits. So, and he just says to Marla, you met me at a strange time in my life, as where is my mind's playing. I thought it was very well done and fitting for a movie like this. 17's a bit emotional, Arrival from 2016 with Denis Villeneuve. I mean, it's fine now that basically all those flashbacks that you think she has in the movie are not flashback or flash forward. She knows she's gonna have a kid with Jeremy Renner's character. She knows that kid's gonna get sick and is gonna die, and that Jeremy Renner's gonna leave because he basically that relationship, because all they're gonna have is grief together. So it's a very powerful movie, and knowing that Louise, which is played by Amy Adams' character, decide to knowing that still have a kid is powerful, is beautiful. It's a very beautiful movie. It's a powerful movie. I recommend go see it. To me, along with Prisoners, those are my favorite Denis Villeneuve's movie. And that's for number 17. Number 16, Good Will Hunting. Now, I will shout out my sister-in-law saying that Casey Affleck's character serves barely any purpose in that movie. In fact, you could take out this character and the same movie be great. Robin Williams steals the show as a therapist, but the whole movie is about while Will Hunting is an extremely intelligent, brilliant man in terms of mathematics, physics, in terms of academics, psychologically is a person who's very flawed, very insecure, very fearful of failure, as most of us are, but would tend to push back people before they can get, he has even the chance to be rejected. That happened with some of his friends, that happened with Skylar, that happens even with Therapist, basically played by, which is Sean McGuire, played by Robin Williams, the late great Robin Williams. It's a, it's not a movie about a genius basically attain utter genius status. It's about a genius trying to retake control of his life and not let fear take over all facets of his life. So people ask, I know some people who didn't watch the movie say it's a mathematical movie. It is. There's mathematics involved, but it's also about some a character finding their way back into the world and not letting fear dictate their every move. So that's number 16. Number 15, The Naked Gun, the first one. I mean, who doesn't love the fact that basically Vincent's character, played by the great Ricardo Montalban, gets paralyzed by basically a watch gadget used by Frank Drebin that could have been basically a parody of James Bond. And then you think, okay, he just fell from from a high distance. Like, okay, it's bad. He's probably dead. But then he says, no, it's not. Okay, then afterwards, there's some people, I think a car backs to him. Okay, maybe this time there's a steamroller this time that steamroll to this. And then afterwards, there's a parade. Like, four times is bad. One time is bad enough. Four times it was hilarious. That's my favorite death of the whole Naked Gun series. And I like Naked Gun 2025 with Liam Neeson. I thought they're back on track. But I felt disappointed that Danny Houston's character didn't have an hilarious death. In fact, he just gets arrested. That's the one thing I didn't like about the movie. It could have added a great thing if it got killed, like a character in Naked Gun 1 or Naked 2 or 3. And yeah, I like that movie. Like the speech at the ending was still like, okay, it's saying, oh, Frank Drebin said, since I've been with you, I've noticed a lot of things, like the dew glistening on top of a leaf, birds singing. And then afterwards, we're saying street lights. I started laughing, like things like that. This movie is all played seriously, but the jokes there are hilarious. So that's for Naked Gun. That's number 15. 14, The Truman Show. I mean, Jim Carrey, I thought that was his best performance there. It's a person who is only the subject of a TV show his entire life. And at times he's wondering why is there a camera there, but every time it's like there's a elaborate and sometimes funny scheme done by actors or people in that environment to making sure that he doesn't find out it's a movie or that's a TV show. And by the second, the end of the middle, he realizes in the TV show. And at first you think he's accepting it. He's accepting it. He's he fool people into thinking maybe he's going to entertain this. He's going to entertain that the producers, that maybe he's going to entertain the fact that he's a star, that maybe he sees through the camera. But one day they think he's sleeping, but actually he already prepared his escape. He goes to the harbor, to take a boat, and throughout the movie he's established that he's fearful of water and a boat because his dad died that way. So he's relentlessly taking a boat, and he's unwavering his way. He goes through the ocean, trying to basically leave the show. And the producer, Christophe, played by Ed Harris, makes sure to uh, create the equivalent of thunderstorm so that he basically would not leave the show. And to a point where it basically becomes a success at the point he could nearly kill Truman. And this is where the true character of Christophe was true nature was revealed, basically saying he was born in the air, he can die in the air. But Truman doesn't relent and still goes through Still goes to the end there, the end of the set. Basically, at first you think he fell unconscious, he's barely there, but he's able to get to the end. The the bullet strikes a wall, so he knows he hit the end of the set. But as a last-ditch effort, Christoph tries to talk to him through the set, but Truman still leaves. Could have been manipulated coming back, but he left. So it's a great way for the character to leave. The love interest outside the show leaves her apartment to go meet him, and viewers, TV viewers, says, "Hey, what else is on?" And I thought it was perfect. It was a great ending to this. Number 13, I'm biased. Beetlejuice. Beetlejuice is an hilarious movie, but the ending is very well done because at first, spoiler alert, the original ending was that Lydia was going to die in a fire, and Beetlejuice would have been just mauled by the sandworms. And I thought for kind of a movie like this, it's kind of too dark. And I think even Tim Burton could agree it was too dark because they changed that ending and you saw that, yeah, he was taken by the sandworms. But we saw Beetlejuice trying to hilariously fool somebody into giving up their ticket, their basically the file number, and get his head shrunk. And I thought it was an hilarious, a great way, great fitting way for Beetlejuice to end on his part. It's like the character is dead anyway, but the way he said his head shrinks and then says, "Hey, this might be a great look for me." I thought it was hilarious because Beetlejuice, as wrong as he is, as incorrect as he is, there's just something hilarious about him. Basically, like he always lights up the screen. So I thought, it's a very well done ending for Beetlejuice. Even Beetlejuice 2 has a great ending as well, but not as memorable for me as the first one. Number 12, Iron Man. Here's a movie that ends by saying the last words. Basically, again, another movie that was just supposed to be a speech, and then afterwards, maybe you go to Iron Man's in the credits. No, the truth is, I am Iron Man. To me, is iconic, and it says that Tony Stark, despite all of this, isn't going to follow the formula of, oh, I'm never going to reveal I'm the actually masked hero. No, he reveals he is. I thought it was very well done. 11, The Godfather. I mean, my favorite Godfather movie is still the first one. I still maintain the best ending to a Godfather movie in this universe. Like as he goes to his what is as he go to basically to church, he's making sure that all his henchmen, all his goons kills all the head of the other families. And then when he's in the office, Michael Corleone was a college graduate trying not to be in the family, was inevitably becoming the Don of the family. It's like he's trying to say to Kay, played by Diane Keaton, that nothing going on. No, don't worry, just go outside. And then afterwards, Diane Keaton sees everybody saluting him as the Don as the door closed to her. Like a metaphor that she'll never be in that world, but she'll never understand what it's like to be in that world as well. So, and it could also say that Michael Corleone basically closed the door on his humanity, on his dreams. So it's a very powerful ending. So that's for Godfather, number 11. Number 10, this is where we go to the big one, the Carrie. The movie Carrie, the original one. I mean, you think like Carrie sacrificed herself after being humiliated at prom, after being humiliated way too many times, and gets rid of most of the nemesis, but then she goes home and inevitably kills her mother and herself, which destroys the house. Then the best friend goes over to her grave and a hand pulls her in. And you think, oh, she's still alive, but it's revealed to be a dream. But the music is unsettling. It went from very calm to very unsettling. And that's how the Carrie's best friend, basically his hallucination causes her to go nuts. So, a very well done ending. Talk about going nuts. It's going to be in the top five. You'll see why you go even more nuts. Number 9, Saw, the original Saw. I mean, John Kramer rising up. Enough said. If you see the movie, John Kramer rising up, when you think that basically that Zed was the main villain, but really it's not him. He was just another unknowing uh, participant in Jigsaw's game. That to me was an excellent ending. So that's number here. That's for number 9. 8, a more positive ending, much more Rocky. Why Rocky and not the other Rocky? It's not Rocky 3. Rocky because it felt like a nobody becoming a somebody. It's like the whole movie at first, before he gets the fight, is basically going from job to job. He's not really succeeding, he's just surviving. Then he gets picked out of nowhere, out of a sudden for a shot against Apollo Creed. And Apollo Creed and everybody else that's not in the personal camp of Rocky treats it like a joke. Like it's, hey, you know what? We're just giving you a chance. We'll give you some money, and afterwards it goes away. For Rocky, it's not a joke. He was hungry. He was hungry to prove to the people that he exists, that as he said in Rocky Balboa, saying I am, that I matter. And he was trained like there was no tomorrow, but at first he was nearly discouraged. He thought there's no way I'm gonna win that fight. I just want to prove that I'm not one bum. That wasn't a bum from the street. And he trained, and with the help of Mickey, with the help of Paulie, and the love of Adrian, basically trying to aspire to be his best. So basically, he didn't want to just be a normal boxing match. To him, it was his life on the line. And he went to Apollo. He was the first one to ever knock Apollo Creed down. Now, after this, Apollo started to take him a bit more seriously, but I still maintain not as seriously as should have done. So the match was 15 rounds. The first time Apollo Creed went 15 rounds. And at the end, he was battered, and Rocky lasted the whole round. And Apollo Creed at the moment said there's no rematch, and Rocky said I don't want one. He didn't need one at the time. He succeeded in his goal. Yet he lost by decision, but who remembers that? I mean, when you look at the series of Rocky, do you remember, hey, Apollo technically won the match, or you remember Rocky did good on his promise? He lasted the whole series. And even then, at the end, when the reporters wanted to know when it's going to be a rematch, he wasn't interested with it. He just wanted to celebrate with the woman he loves. That, to me, is an excellent ending. To this day, it's one of the greatest endings ever. One of the greatest happy endings in a movie ever. That's for Rocky. Number 7, Inception. Inception is like a beautiful ending. It's like, yeah, it's ambiguous. I think it might be the most ambiguous ending. Yeah, the most ambiguous ending that you have on this list. And because the top, it could mean that he's still in a dream world or he's not. But one or another, Cobb is still happy to see his kids no matter what. He's given in the fact that this is reality now. For him, he accepted that this is reality. And that's a beautiful ending, a great movie, great action pieces. And I can't say enough about this movie. I love Christopher Nolan, but I especially love that ending for that movie. That's for number 6 and number 7. Number 6, the highest comedy ending that I ranked there, Dumb and Dumber. Another movie where they fought for the ending. Like everybody who's seen the ending will attest to how hilarious it is. I mean, Harry inevitably gets rejected by Lauren Ollie's character. We knew this happening. We knew this happened. They discovered who basically tried to kidnap Lauren Ollie's boyfriend. They helped, basically, in that case, inadvertently. And you think, okay, now there's basically they ponder about their luck when suddenly, out of nowhere, a bus full of models, bikini models come in and say, hey, would you want to come with us and basically apply basically suntan and basically all on us? And this first, Jeff Daniels' character, Harry says, well, there's a town the other side. Okay, that's clueless. That's funny enough. But then Jim Carrey slaps him and says, what are you doing? And he runs. He runs to the bus. And you think, okay, he's going to say, okay, we're cool for it. We'll do it. We'll beat those guys. No, he said, actually, the town's the other side. And every bikini model's looking at this like, can you believe these guys? And the line after this makes the joke even better. It's like one day, some good guy will have some nice guy will be picked from them. I just wish we had a good ending as well. Like that's hilarious. Like if you saw that movie, you'd be laughing you'd be laughing your butt off. So yeah, that's my top comedy ending. Top comedy ending. There's case. I mean, there's Shaun of the Dead in terms of ending. That's also funny. Uh, Beer Fest as well. Beer Fest, a very underrated comedy, if you ask me. But let's go to number five. Number five, Batman 89. Batman Returns, I love it, but I think I said in a previous video that I thought it was a bit depressing. Was Batman 89 is not. It's dark, it's gritty, but it fits Batman. And the ending, especially the theme by Danny Elfman at the end, is so iconic. And I thought Warner Brothers sometimes were so shameless of taking the themes, the score, sorry, by Danny Elfman and putting them in trailers of Batman Forever, Batman and Robin. Especially the triumphant theme at the end of Batman 89 was just looking at the Batman signal. Like there was not a Batman signal before that movie. And since then, it's being established in the ethos of the character. It's basically Batman 89 deserves a lot of respect for establishing a lot of things that now are just canon to Batman and are just normal for Batman that there wasn't beforehand. And I thought it was a perfect ending. It wasn't too dark, but it was Batman accepting to be Batman and basically Gotham City finally accepting and embracing Batman to a certain level. So yeah, I really like Batman 89. And I love the ending. It's like, P.S. I love to see a Batman 3, even today with Tim Burton. There's a reason why people are still clamoring for one. It still could happen. You could have a Batman Beyond movie with this. It's still possible. But they have to take their, you can say take their time, but not too much. Because I think there's a window for that movie. It's like several couple of years because I don't want the Flash to be the last thing of you saw of Michael Keaton as the Batman. But I digress. Number four, as a tie, again Batman, but I didn't want to overtake it. It'd be Batman Begins and Batman and The Dark Knight Rises. Surprisingly, of the trilogy, I prefer Dark Knight. But Dark Knight as the lead, if you just compare the ending, the one that's least that's not as fascinating as the other is The Dark Knight because it ends kind of abruptly compared to the others. Batman Begins, I love the ending of basically Batman and Jim Gordon talking about escalation, which you know Chris Nolan was already setting up for a sequel, and he was talking about the basically the next villain is basically a calling card and has a taste for theatrics, just like Batman. And you see the Joker card, which when I went to see the movie theater back in 2005, people were clapping just seeing this. But he was saying, I'll look into it, and I love the following line. I never got to say thank you, and you'll never have to, as Batman flies away at the end of the movie. That is a badass way to end your movie. You didn't have to go too much into details. Just end it like this. It felt great, and the way it was framed, it's like if there was no other sequel, there was no Dark Knight, it would have been fine. Could have been basically the prequel to Batman '89, but in this case, it was a Dark Knight. So that to me is how you introduce a superhero movie. That's how you end it. Similarly, Dark Knight Rises. I love the ending. You think Batman sacrificed himself, and he kind of did. He sacrificed Bruce Wayne's persona for this to happen. And for like 5 minutes, for at least for a good minute, when you went to movie theater, when you saw it, not now, because now much time has passed, but the theater, you think, okay, did Chris Nolan really kill off Batman? For a while, it's like, seems like he did. It seems like he did. And especially seeing Alfred break down and say, you trusted me and I failed you to the grave of Bruce Wayne and the Bruce Wayne's parents, to me was very emotional, very, very sad there. And seeing basically the statue of the Batman, and also this, the, it's like, okay, they really kill him off. But until they saw that basically there's a software patch which will repair the autopilot, is Bruce Wayne. People say, oh, but how could you have done this in one day? No, it was basically in terms of Nolan, it was established, like it may be established that he left weeks in advance and went back home. And during that time, all the stuff that was going on in Gotham, Bruce Wayne left weeks before the bomb was going to explode, and he left. And basically, during that week, since he had a couple of weeks, you're right. He's before revealing that he was still alive, he made sure to repair the software patch, and he made sure to basically announce that he was going to basically prepare the sign for Bane, the flaming sign, the flaming bat sign, to let him know he was back. So the final preparation is the day before. So, but if not, uh, I like the fact that basically when we found out that Batman is Batman, Batman has survived, like there was a Goodwill Hunting reference there about Alfred's fantasy that basically wanted Bruce Wayne to move on, and you got to see that. People ask, is it basically what Alfred sees? No, it's reality. Because if not, it'd be kind of too weird that his fantasy, you would see him with Catwoman when there was no interaction with Catwoman and Alfred during the whole movie. So yeah, be this. And seeing Robin, like to me was a nice Easter egg, but people ask me, do you think that Robin will become uh, Robin? No, I think Robin will be either Nightwing or Batman. The next Batman. Basically, the legend lives on. It's just the person behind the cowl will be different. So that's for this ending. I like the fact that Bruce Wayne gets happy ending. So does Catwoman. What they were deprived in Batman Returns. Another, I know it's not the same actor, same director, but still, they got theirs. Alfred get to live his remaining years in peace. Gordon Gordon maybe is the one thing like I like to have seen Gordon make do with his family, which we didn't get to in this movie. But everybody else gets a happy ending, and John Blake will become the next Batman. So yeah, that's for number four. Number three, One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest. One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest when basically Randall Patrick McMurphy gets lobotomized, and after which Chief strangles him. But there's hope because he finally takes the panel that basically McMurphy thought he could live before but didn't, and he breaks the window and he escapes. And it's like people realize at that moment, after Nurse Ratched was subdued, they found out that basically that escape was never out of reach. That they can always escape when they feel ready. That's what I like about this movie, Andy. It's like it can be dark, but it's like when the patients feel ready, they could leave. They could all leave there, and Nurse Ratched exert no more psychological power over them. So that's a very beautiful, powerful ending. Number two, Return of the King. Lord of the Rings, Return of the King. I'm really tired when people say, "Oh, there's too many endings." I thought that's how you end a series. Many endings. You know, you don't end it like, "Who? We did it right." No, you have to say goodbye to those characters. I love all the endings. I love Aragorn saying you bow to no one, to the hobbits. I mean, I love that basically Aragorn finally embraces Ranger heritage, but also embrace his royal heritage, merges both and becomes the king of Rohan. I love that Legolas and Gimli finally acknowledge their friendship. Like they let go a bit of their rivalry. They might be friendly rivals, but they're not gonna basically uh, dislike each other for this. I like that Denethor finally lets go of his love, but still resentment of Boromir being picked as the favorite brothers by Denethor, and he's just being himself, just being his own man, and he gets with Eowyn. I like Eomer, I think, played by Karl Urban, who also was, I think, became like the captain of the army, of the Rohan army by then. And Gandalf goes to the west, as well as Bilbo and Frodo. It was emotional for Frodo there, but see, I can understand the trauma that he endured wasn't the same for him in the Shire. And Sam, being the hero that he is, basically had to basically, since he was the last ring bearer, different ring bearer, has to basically complete the book that is Lord of the Ring. And also, Merry and Pippin also got along together. Sam got married, and it's like I love that ending. I don't know. It's like there's never going to be a Lord of the Rings 4, nor should it be remade. To me, like the whole story was emotional and it felt right. It was ambition and done right. So that's number two. You probably are asking yourself, well, what could be your number one movie? Well, it's not my number one movie, but it's my number one movie ending, and that's The Shawshank Redemption. I mean, here's a movie about hope, about a person, Andy Dufresne, who was in prison for a crime he never committed. And basically, by the end, you think he's accepting his role, but no, he managed to escape. And it's not like it was a clean escape. He went through a tunnel, a very dirty tunnel to leave. And when he did, he made sure to get the money laundered, make sure that Warren would be arrested for the abuse there, and make sure that his friend Otis, played by Morgan Freeman, would meet him there after he left prison. That's a very beautiful message about hope, redemption, as the title says. And that might just be my favorite Stephen King movie. Surprisingly, for a movie, an author about horror movies, often horror things, my favorite movie my favorite movie related to Stephen King happened to be a drama of his, which I think it should do more. But those are my top 30 movie. I hope I didn't ramble too long, and I really hope because I don't want to go and cross over too long there. So let me know what you think down below. Oh, honorable mention, you could have also at Soylent Green, Psycho, but yeah, I I think I'm sticking with my list there. So let me know what you think. Have fun later. And if you want to, yeah, there's also the movie Blood Debts, which the ending is hilarious, but not for the right reason. Just so you know. Okay. See you later, guys. Bye.